say his father is Tobago's best fisherman. Catch a fish a mile wide, 80 feet in span. He had to tighten the boat and swim back to land to get his brother Eric to give him a hand. You hear lie? That is lie. Lie? You hear lie?
Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you go into hell as soon as you die.
Why, sir? Check it out. Liar the lion, he laughed till he sweat. He said, Mr. Depot, ain't say nothing yet. If you really want to hear about fishing, let me blow your mind. Now listen to something. When you're talking about fish, you just hit the spot. I was hoping you did believe it or not. The fish your father caught, to you it was great. But it's them small fish my father does use for bait. Lion went ahead on points in the show. Completely eliminated Mr. Depot. The next man to beat was Willie Outrageous. He asked the judges if he could lie first. The judges asked Lion. The Lion agreed. Say any topic Will pick is alright with me. He outrageous, I strong. Let we meet head on. And when we done, see who had fit to wear the crown. You hear lie? That is lie. Lie? You hear lie?
Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you go into hell as soon as you die.
Let it go. Let it go. Shook it up. Yep. The outrageous say that he knew a tailor comes to making suit. The man is the master. If you show him a man coming round a corner, he could make him a suit and don't even measure. A talking about suit, sitting down correct, expertly made and fitting perfect. He used to sew for Shakespeare, make suit for Hamlet, and up to this day yet make a mistake yet. You know the crowd went wild, they couldn't cool down. I say liar, the lion losing the crown. The judges brought the crowd back to order and asked the lion to lie about a tailor. He said, my man is the best. Rolf is his name. Cutting cloth, making suit is his game. Don't show him the man, my tailor is class. Just show him the corner where the fella pass, and he gon' make a suit. That is tailor. You hear lie? King liar.
Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you go into hell as soon as you die.
Whip it up. Whip it up. Let it go. Move it up. Let it go.
Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you go into hell as soon as you die. Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you go into hell as soon as you die.
Yes, indeed. Of course, a pleasant good night to all and Century, East, West, North, South, Central, or Prince and Tobago, and wherever you are. Excuse me. Streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. Yes, this is the Tuesday night edition of the Corridor Transformation. Of course, yes, we are now entering that zone of seriousness and of a nature that will make, of course, all of us not just feel proud, but know that we are doing the right thing at the appropriate time when, of course, at that time has arrived. Of course, I couldn't resist the temptation of starting with, of course, the most prolific, the most intense, the most historic, the most monolithic, the most expansive, the most destructive, the most blatant, the most arrogant, the most contemptuous of any grouping of individuals that would have been given the opportunity to serve Trinidad and Tobago at the highest level, led by, yes, that man that you just saw on the screen, Keith Christopher Rowley. And as somebody intimated today, and I thought I should start with that as well. One of the reasons why I thought I should start with that is because they said that, of course, if he was Pinocchio, Rowley, we would have had no problem with the sea bridge, or should I say a bridge between Trinidad and Tobago, because his nose would have been that long. But then, of course, my colleague said that is an understatement. And I wonder, well, what and how that could be an understatement? A man knows, based on lies, grow from Trinidad to Tobago. He said, no. Rowley knows will have passed Tobago and go elsewhere. Well, I give him the cake. So people, let's say it again, for, of course, this lying, deceptive, opportunistic, and, of course, incompetent, impotent miscreants under an organization or nestled in an organization called the PNM that is, of course, a criminal enterprise. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
See who they will crown as lion champion. Liars from all parts of the West Indies. Big shot liars from all them foreign countries. From a field about 1,000 or so entry. In 2 days, he boiled down and leave just 3. I had me eye on Liar the Lion, because I know he does come with some good ones. But they had a younger fella named Debo, come from some village there in Tobago. He say his father is Tobago's best fisherman. Catch a fisherman wide 80 feet in span. He had to tight on the boat and swim back to land to get his brother Eric to give him a hand. You hear lie? That is lie. Lie? You hear lie?
Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die.
Why, sir? Check it out. Liar the lion, he laughed till he sweat. He said, Mr. Depot, ain't say nothing yet. If you really want to hear about fishing, let me blow your mind. Now listen to something. When you're talking about fish, you just hit the spot. I was hoping you did believe it or not. The fish your father caught, to you it was great. But it's them small fish my father does use for bait. Lion went ahead on points in the show. Completely eliminated Mr. Depot. The next man to beat was Will the Outrageous. He asked the judges if he could lie first. The judges asked Lion. The Lion agreed. Say any topic Will pick is alright with me. He outrageous, I strong. Let we meet head on. And when we done, see who head fit to wear the crown. You hear lie? That is lie. Lie? You hear lie?
Teacher Pussy say if you tell a lie, you're going to hell as soon as you die.
Let it go. Let it go. Shook it up. Yep. The outrageous say that he knew a tailor comes to making suit. The man is the master. If you show him a man coming round a corner, he could make him a suit and don't even measure. A talking about suit, sitting down correct, expertly made and fitting perfect. He used to sew for Shakespeare, make suit for Hamlet, and up to this day yet make a mistake yet. You know the crowd went wild, they couldn't cool down. I say liar, the lion losing the crown. The judges brought the crowd back to order and asked the lion lie about a tailor. He said my man is the best. Rolf is his name. Cutting cloth, making.
Hello, Pastor, good night. Hello? Pastor, good night. Oh, good. Good night. All right, let me just try to call again. People, of course, as I promised, we are going to not in any way intrude, meaning to intrude, but of course, as I promised, we would be calling people impromptu, not organized. But I tried to get Rudilal Munilal earlier, and then of course I'm trying now to get Julian John. I think I heard some kind of response, but if not, we will continue, of course, with the program because, as we said, we are not certain that we're going to get them. Pastor, good night. Pastor, good night.
Yeah, Mr. Smith.
Hi, how are you? How are you? I want to tell you were splendid. Yes, last night, in fact, in your presentation. But we have a program where we calling people off the cuff. I know that is resting time now, but you know this time is election time as well. We are live on the corridor transformation, and I thought you would have been one of the persons that I must of necessity have to speak to tonight. And of course, one of the topics we have tonight is the lying of this administration. And we just wanted to get, if you have the time, a few comments from you. And of course, to let us know what motivated you to, of course, raise the topic last night that you did and the way that you did. I thought it was splendid. First of all, of course, let me apologize for the impromptuness of the exercise, but that is the nature of it. Do you have some time?
Well, not a lot of time. I could spend
all right, great. Well, that's all we ask. That's all.
Because I'm preparing for several meetings, very urgent meetings, political meetings.
Good. Well, take it from which part, where you wish. Just well, you understand the nature of why we are calling. So let me. So just begin where you wish. I would really love to hear some of the reasoning behind that splendid performance. Well, I should say pleasant presentation last night. I don't want it to sound as though it is theatrics. This is a serious business.
No, well, I mean, crime is something that affects everybody. Each time I speak specifically.
Yes. So I don't want to reduce it at all. Yes.
We talk about the crime situation.
Yes.
Because the people, many of the victims and perpetrators are young, typically black people, and I mean, anybody dying is an issue, simply. But one wants to acknowledge that there must be a deeper reason for all of these murders, etc. And I think if one is to look at it, I think the media went into Mova last week. It was yesterday. Sorry, it was reported. And met some youths because they had there were 4 murders from the Wednesday to Sunday, day before yesterday. And the youth said they said with kind of, what did they put it? The person had a little grin on their face, but not to discredit. I mean, anyway, they made a little fun out of it. The young guy they spoke to, they described it. And he said eventually said it's about opportunities and lack of jobs. It's hard to find jobs, and basically this must concern us. So that's why, I mean, each time I speak, quite frankly, I talk basically about the same thing because this would concern all of us.
Yes.
And particularly when you have little children, whether it's the Maloney 6-year-old girl who was killed in Grandy in her bed,
yes,
or little Jomo running around in the savannah in Subornas.
Yeah, and I mean, and the most seniors, I think, is that sibling couple that was brutally murdered by a cutlass in Maruga.
Right, but I mean, none is more brutal. I mean, it's horrible that all children are facing this.
Oh, yeah, boy.
And Anika Guerra, who 5 years old, was shot 5 bullets in her mother's arm. So
yes.
these are the issues we face, and we can't just allow them to, because they are not well connected and rich. I mean, I can't put anything else to it. They seem not to be seen, and if you have a platform, you have to keep advocating in terms of, so that we don't forget them and we don't forget what circumstances brought us here, and really use everything that we have to get out of this. This is not a good thing at all for a small country.
basically,
Yeah.
these are things that trouble me.
Yeah. Well, of course, that's the troubling part. But of course, the response by this administration, of course, the leader of the opposition was very, specific last night. Even though, of course, the crime was not the focus too much, but certainly, what are your views with respect to the response of this administration? Because the consensus is, in fact, is almost unanimous. I think even the most ardent PNM advocate or sympathizer will have to agree that, I mean, it is unacceptable, unprecedented, and that this government is maybe out of its wits and should be really focusing on calling an election than of course attempting to hoodwink us further. What's your view on that?
Well, if you had really listened to the program last night, you would have heard that MP Saddam Hussein dealt
Yes.
very professionally, expertly as he does and can, with also with the crime issue from the criminal justice system side, because we tend to be quite holistic with this. The honorable political leader would have dealt with healthcare
Yes.
in a broader sense, because again, yes, crime is really something that has us out of our wits, etc. in this country. But we have other problems. We have education, we have healthcare, we have infrastructure. We have lack of security in our borders. We have lack of jobs. We have the economy. People say tanking. All of our people, business people can't afford it. So just say it is a whole arm's length list of things that have gone wrong. But the other political leader is putting out a manifesto, as it were, because winning an election don't drop from the sky. A lot of people feel that it drops from the sky, and that you could just talk. And even it takes a lot of hard work. So that is part of the hard work. It shows that she's thinking and she's working. The week prior, she would have laid out 70 policies to treat with crime.
Yes.
Last night was 50 to treat with healthcare. Because even in this year or 2024, with all of the plant and facilities that will have been built by the then People's Partnership Government, somehow the Rowley's government, they have Citizens of Trinidad and Tobago again waiting 4 days in a corridor for um, for a bed. Some people die there from things that could, if had it been promptly attended to, they would have been alive today. So, all of these things are of concern. We have a country that doesn't free fall, a country that has collapsed. And it
Yes.
is all of our business. The same way I made the point last night that crime is not a black problem. In
Mm-hmm.
the same way, bringing Trinidad back to what could be its very full potential, where it could be a safe country, a prosperous country for all of us, I think should be weighing heavily on the minds of all of us.
Yes, indeed.
And again, I urge people as they move forward to make this decision whenever the election is called, even if you're PNM, because you made the point that PNM people are suffering the same way as you and I, or if somebody support the COP or whomever. It's not an election thing, it's not a political thing. It's just about being seen and trying to Tobago. So I made the point that should a PNM supporter decide when the time comes to vote for Canopy as successor. That doesn't make him a UNC. It doesn't make him a patriot. Because what there is consensus, almost at 100%, and again you made the point, is that Rowley is not good for this country.
Oh, yes.
Right? That is
Yes.
that is the consensus.
Yes.
The time at the PNM people are saying this.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? They're saying this guy is not good for the country.
Yes, yes, yes.
I was better off in a particular period, and they always will reference as the point of reference 2010 to 2015. They said we were better off. We were getting 14%, now we're offering 4% when the cost of when inflation is going at 73%. So it just can't make. There's little papers, and I know it personally because people are calling me. School have started, and I'm still getting calls on WhatsApp for help with school books and school this and school. And not only mothers, but fathers also. So it tells you that people, I mean, my proudest days when my daughter was growing up to school and so on was going to a bookstore and getting a books. I felt satisfied that, I am really honoring my commitment to be a good or excellent parent, a responsible parent. So I know every parent wants to be able to walk into a bookstore and buy every book for the child, buy the school uniform. But when you have to ask, it really is not an easy road. There's a lot of mental stress in that. So
Yes.
that is where we are, and plus we have this issue of the crime. And I just again, as I wrap up,
Yes.
tried to really indicate to people, whether it was in Waiko, where they burnt a man, after killing a man, they went, dug up the grave, and burnt his body. I mean, these things are bizarre. In the Belmont, I think they shot some people dead, then they ran behind the ambulance just to make sure they're dead
Yeah, boy.
at the port general. I mean, these things are crazy.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
mentioned the children that
Unprecedented, unprecedented,
they
heinous, and barbaric. Yeah. Well,
they are barbaric. You
yeah,
understand? Say, a 61-year-old lady, they found a from a Rima, found a pillow over her head. She was sexually assaulted before they killed her.
yeah,
That
yeah.
girl, Crystal, somewhere in South, in her new house, well, the house she's building, the dream house, in front of her two children, they beat her so badly, told the two children, step outside to kill the woman. But nothing in return.
Yes, indeed.
So these things
Well,
are really, these are not things you sit on.
yes, I know you have to go. You have a busy
Yes.
schedule, but finally, the elephant in the atmosphere, of course, is the UNC ready. The 2023, sorry, 2025 elections is upon us. I don't need to anything before that would have been behind us. But is the UNC ready?
Well, I don't know what ready means. What I could tell you is that even as we speak, there are three meetings going on. Well, this evening, and would have been in this UNC, what we call the stronghold areas. But prior to that, there would have been not meetings, but is sort of audits
Uh huh.
of the state of readiness within a prescribed formula and format and
Okay.
policy and strategy in the 10 marginals. And you might have seen, gotten a little glimpse via social media of those 10 what do you call it, constituencies coming together a Sunday or so ago to report to the honorable political leader.
Mm-hmm.
Getting ready is not the Monday night, what we did last night. Getting ready is on the ground. The politics is not a air raid, it's a ground war. That is why, sometimes we laugh at these things and use them as folklore.
And
When
very briefly, in my
yes,
final question to you, the NACTA
yes.
poll. Did you have a look at it, and
People
what are your views?
I don't like to discredit to him, but that NACTA poll really is nonsense. Every time the PNM is under pressure, they trot out this NACTA poll wherever they get it from. Now, you recall that the night before the THA election, I think that is the best point of reference. They had a poll, that NACTA had a poll, that PNM had won all the seats, when in fact it was the reverse.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
So, I
especially
mean, nobody,
The Tobago outcome. I think they were way off base. Whilst we were
they
saying
always,
on the ground
but they
report and
always off
elsewhere.
base.
Yeah,
And
yes.
people, listen, that poll is not suspect, not suspicious. People always know that that poll is a poll for hire. All right. So
Okay.
when PNM under pressure, they crank up the thing and they send out the foolishness. But the poll really, you a man about town is walking up and down 20th
True.
Street,
You're so right.
and
You're
if
so
you
right.
talk to 100 people, 100, I'm telling you, 100, it doesn't matter the color of the skin, what church they go to, who God they pray to, or who they vote for in that political booth. 100 telling you, Rowley and his PNM need to go. So that's the poll that matters.
Yes, indeed. Any closing
Uh,
remarks?
no. I'm gonna really
I
have to
got it
go.
right. Right.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, of course,
Good.
for taking the
Okay.
time off
Bye bye.
your
Thank you.
busy
Bye bye.
schedule. People, of course,
Indeed. Bye
that
bye.
was Senator Jillian John, of course, deputy political leader of the UNC, and sharing with us, of course, some of her thoughts with respect, of course, to, among other things, the NACTA poll. Because one of the things that I wanted to speak of this morning, tonight, and I did, in fact, mention it this morning, on the ground report, was the whole question of that actor poll. I thought it was making an excuse, a built-in excuse for itself, being erroneous and biased, and at the same time, of course, attempting, of course, to maybe appease some what I consider to be piper payer. You understand? Those who pay the piper call the tune. Well, something of that nature. And then, of course, I remember very distinctly that was the approach of the NACTA poll when we, on the ground, with respect to the ground report and our coverage in Tobago and that Tobago THA elections, and we were saying 15-0. And the NACTA poll was still giving the PNM the edge. And at the end of the day, I find it very hilarious, but I find it very disingenuous. And I don't think I will be, let's say, out of sync or disingenuous to them if I say they are really dishonest. It's a dishonest poll that comes strategically around this time in order to try to influence a particular outcome in favor of the PNM. But let's go straight to the line. I have another call that I want to take, but I will certainly do that subsequently. That was Julian John, of course, on the line earlier. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Pleasant good night, Mr. Lennox.
Good night to you, my friend.
And pleasant good night to that distinguished opposition senator.
Yes.
Julian John.
Yes.
Pleasant good night. Pleasant good night to the right-thinking citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Mr. Lennox.
Yes.
Who tell the outgoing Prime Minister that he father leave Trinidad on the will for him?
Them tell the
I really want to know, you know.
They tell
Who tell that man that his father leave? I want to know if he really know who is his father to. Leave Trinidad and Tobago on the will for him because he acting like this was on a will for him.
No, you're right, you know. You're right. Even if you said it in jest, you're right. Rowley, according to Vanilla Toppin, I don't have the proof, but based on what she said, is that Rowley is a victim of rape, you know. So he really probably don't know his father.
That's why he had no love in his heart.
Yeah. So go ahead. So even if you said it in jest or by accident.
He didn't come with love, he come with hold it down.
Yes.
Right. So I want to just make a little comparison to the ruling outgoing government.
Yes.
And the incoming government.
Yes.
All right? I want to know this. I'm talking to the people who want the fence.
Mm-hmm.
It's either all you want property tax or all you want 7,000 food items with the removal of VAT.
And incidentally, would you be surprised if Sekufan called in this morning on the ground report, and I couldn't resist taking note of that, and he said that if you go to the Gazette, the government newspaper, or you go to the Ministry of Industry, you will not see 7,000 items, or put another way, you would see the items that are not that has not attracted VAT, and somehow giving the government credit for that, and at the same time rubbishing the 7,000 items and saying you can't find 7,000 items to make them, of course, VAT free. And I thought that was so amazingly, should I say, dunderheaded. But go ahead. I thought I should make that intervention. Why should bring in the question of VAT? Yeah.
The Honorable Gopi Singh went in the parliament and point out the 106 schools and on certain programs where the same set of people only calling in.
Yes.
Stating that they still waited to see where the 106 schools that the former administration built.
Oh,
so
I
these
see.
people is like, I don't even know how to explain these people, boy. These supporters of the PNM. That I was doing the comparison.
Oh, right.
Right?
No, because
106 school built,
mm-hmm.
right? With less than 6 billion. And the outgoing administration gets $6 billion to deal with education. And we have a lot of schools yet to be reopened, or if they reopen, they're unfinished.
Yes.
With $6 billion.
Mm-hmm.
They call the incoming administration was billing box train. They call them a box train government, but I could recall when those box train was billing all over this country, we didn't have the amount of flood that we was having now.
Yes.
Right?
Of course. I mean, it was it's chalk and cheese, comparatively speaking. Yeah, go ahead. I want to ask you a question. Don't leave when you finish. I want to ask you a question, but go ahead.
Yes. Then we have under the outgoing administration.
Yes.
$3 point something billion is unaccounted for with our Auditor General is not getting access to the central bank business that she's supposed to get access, she being blocked. Right? To the incoming administration, we never had that. We were just having allegations of mismanagement. We're up to today, they have no information that the incoming administration had been anybody had been prosecuted for thieving this or stolen this.
Corruption,
right?
the corruption that they professed.
Yes.
The
Like
UNC had committed. However, we have overwhelming evidence to the contrary that they were the profligate and they were the thieves under the corruption. And we, the fundamental principle of that or example of that is Balize House, no doubt.
That's correct. Yes. Because the PNM couldn't buy a doubles in 2015, but only to build a Balize House for 120 million and tell me a raffle sheet. Well, I didn't know I come out with my foot first. I come out with a head, but it looks like I come out with my foot first.
Yeah, and not only that, if it's so, how they are doing so badly as far as managing the affairs of the country, if they could, of course, have, through a raffle alone, a Ghana over $100 and something million to build that monstrosity of steel, concrete, and mortar. But go ahead.
Yes. And one more thing. I have one more thing I wanted to think, but I just get lost a chain of thought. I just lost.
No problem, man. Take your time, and you can call back.
As I was really stating that I say these things to tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago that is the right thinking citizens, not the fanatics, that the parties are not the same. Since an inception, when the UNC had been created, because the PNM, the UNC 10 years, now we get 5. The PNM getting restoration about 50-something years, if I ain't for correction.
Yes.
And if they had 50-something years in office, out of 60.
Wonder what I do this. We just lost that caller there. I pressed something on the phone because he's on the handset and not on the system. When that happens, yeah, we have it there. So sorry about that, people, because I wanted to ask him a very pointed question with respect, of course, to these sycophants and those persons who, like parrots, they just regurgitate what they hear and do it automatically without any rationalization on their own or any evaluation. I better say it one time because I'm sure that he might be hearing. Sorry about that, caller. We lost you. If you can call back, I know you didn't. You won't finish in terms of the final part of your presentation. Another call came in and I pressed something to ask the caller to hold on and of course everything went berserk. Yes, let's see. All right, okay. Well, we have the caller that made the intervention earlier. Let me just get that. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Hello, yeah.
Yeah, good night. Welcome. Sorry about that.
This is San Fernando here.
Hey, how are we going?
I just calling to tell you that Jolene John was quite correct in saying what she was saying about an actor thing, you know.
Yes.
You know what Pande used to do?
What?
Pande used to go and sit down in a rum shop in order to know the to know the result. But so if you want to know, just hit the streets. Yeah. She quite correct. Just hit the streets and you can hear people talk.
And hear them talk. And there could be no more streeter person than myself. And I mean that that to me is not just a irony, not just a misrepresentation, but it seems to be a conspirators attempt to try to realize something that is impossible to realize.
So it has some streets like, okay, like in San Fernando here, I wouldn't go down Mucrapo Street really, but I'll walk High Street.
Right.
So if I walk High Street and I hear 15 people talk.
You get the temperature of what gauge as to what's really happening.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The next thing too is that the last caller was talking about the schools.
Yes.
right? And what he was saying is that some people, PNM sycophants are saying, they still want to find out where the 106 schools that Kamala and they say they built.
Yes.
But that was read out in Parliament by Tim Gopi Singh.
Yeah.
But the problem I'm having is this. I am wondering if the Minister of Education, if her children was watching the opening of the school that she went to open, costing some $10 million.
Yeah, boy.
Right?
And everything dusty, everything rusty. I mean, it's pathetic.
Fall down the window, falling down the all of that.
And the comical thing about it, that is why, you have to call them asses that don't eat grasses. But I mean, here it is, she had a pre-prepared speech and went ahead with her pre-prepared speech.
That's right.
Gloating and glowing in the performance of the repair and the contractors, when in fact you should be questioning. But we have to question her now, where the blasted $10 million gone?
Not only that. The thing about it is, okay, now it looks so stupid, right? Kamala and they built 107 schools, right? And you go on just to open one and you can't open it?
Oh yeah. I didn't look at it from that perspective. So even the singular indicator that you know what you're about, that you can, of course, probably neutralize some of the criticism leveled against you and maybe justify your presence. That and all collapse. That
too collapse. Because
wow.
you even reach a double figure, you know.
You know what I'm saying? You're still in the lower single digit. Lower single digit. It's just one above zero.
Yeah.
I mean, but let me ask you the question that I wanted to ask the caller before. On the same question of these schools. And sycophants and apologists are still, of course, making statements to find where these schools are. But clearly, those statements originated from Dr. Rowley himself, and nobody get me vexed before I play it now for you. In fact, I will play it after we put down the phone. But these sycophants who still continue to prolong that clearly deceptive or illusionary propaganda that was emanated from Rowley and the upper echelons of the PNM. So them ain't notice that Rowley and them ain't talking about it again. Yeah, you understand where I'm coming from? Rowley and they are not talking about it again, but they continue. Is it a disconnect? Is it that they lag so far behind that while Rowley and them may not want to say publicly that Kamala Prasad Bisesa, or they found the schools, and the schools in fact exist, that they don't know with their common sense, since they remain silent on a significant matter like that Rowley and then, in other words, not talking about it again. They don't know to shut up their blasted traps. I mean, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to know that.
Lennox,
go ahead.
Lennox,
yeah.
People are not trying to educate themselves. I went to a function 2 years ago, right? And in that function, what we come to talk about, you have PNM people there, and PNM people may not even know UNC people in the audience.
Right.
Vice versa. All right. So what I'm saying is this: PNM people, they are backward, because if I am making a point, right, and I get up and say, well, look, so I think you people are going down a road that not. What is the next move that they will do? Shut me down.
Yeah.
So what does it tell me when you operate like that? When you shut down a person, you don't want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And this is exactly how these people are operated. You know? Mm-hmm. They don't want to learn. They don't want that. They prefer to stay in that box, according to one of the callers, stay in your safe zone and do nothing.
Right.
Or when other people hit you the criticism and tell you you're going down a wrong road, right? Now I could show you something here. Even with the dengue, right? Let me just go into the dengue, right? All over this country, there are drains in this country which is unclean for years,
Yes.
right? Now, what it is that keeping this thing in a particular way, and the authorities encouraging this thing to happen, because as far as when I look at it, right, the authorities, if you have a drain, let's say, and I remember under the NER was on a cleanup campaign.
Yeah, when they came into office first, I mean, that was supported, I mean, by the international
they were using,
that was a fantastic
they were using the
example of coming together.
They were using what, backhoes and things to clear the drain.
Yeah, all the equipment that exists, private and statutory. Yes.
If you have a drain and you get a backhoe to clear it, right? And what I'm saying is this: you get the backhoe to clear it, and you pay people now to keep your drains clean after the backhoe clear all the dirt.
Yeah.
Most people
maintenance
don't want this to happen in the bulk corporations around Trinidad and Tobago. You know?
Yes.
They prefer to go down inside of there and clear the stuff up, throw it out on the side of the on the bank
on the
of
bank,
the
yes,
drain,
yes.
and then when the rains fall,
it goes right back. Yeah. Or some dogs, or some human by accident cause it to return to where from where it came from in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah, so when they die from dengue, I have seen this with my own eyes, and I'll tell why you people want to do that kind of thing.
Well,
get some backhoes through and it is the authorities encouraging this.
Yeah. Well, you answered my first question in that the people don't read, or they don't care to, of course, learn anything, or they probably simply don't care to criticize their leader, even though they know that conscientiously that the leader had misled them. But of course, what do you think of the decision to prosecute homeowners or property owners for harboring tires and vessels that may harbor water that may provide breeding grounds for the Aedes aegypti mosquito that is that causes dengue?
Well, it's bad management, because some years ago I remember the health authorities came by me, right, and I mean I had to laugh, because I got up the morning and I heard the call, and when I opened the door, they say help people. Okay, what do you have? Water in the back there? Yeah, I say I have fish in that tub. Right? Okay. What you have in that tub there? That one, right. They went all around the yard, and after going all around the yard, come back by the big drain by me there to tell me that here what's going on. We don't have the granules to throw in the water for mosquito, you know, because the corporation saying them don't have.
So it's public relations then. In short, it's public relations, and trying to, of course, project illusion that doesn't have no basis. Of course, whereas an illusion has no basis in reality.
So you understand what's going on?
Yeah. So it's just a facade. It's just a kind of fabrication, only to sound good and only for the gullible, and but in fact it's dengue in the tail. I understand. Is about 16 cases now. 16 cases death.
I think it's more. It's more.
I think the death toll, I think, has climbed considerably from the last 2 or 3 that we had early. I think I might have gotten it mixed up, because I think I saw it sometime between yesterday and today. But I will confirm and whether which one of the statistics is right. Because with this government, once they tell you jump, you have to stand up, and when they tell you close your eyes, you open it wide. Yeah.
So you understand what I'm saying? You don't have the money to buy granules, but you have millions of dollars to build Balize house and do all kind of
unquestionably so.
Things.
Unquestionably so. Them and all don't know where they get it. We saw it with a missing 2 billion that still is missing from the Auditor General. They presented the special report as suggested by Kamala because that would have been the legal thing to do. Of course, they were resisting that. They did it. But still, of course, they are not, of course, engaged in addressing that matter. But they want to castigate, of course, the auditor because the Auditor General ought to succumb to their, what I consider to be miscreant and malfeasance conduct and even misfeasant conduct.
Yeah. And as long as they continue to put square peg in wrong holes, we'll get.
Fantastic.
You know what we'll get. Nothing.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Yes, indeed. People, of course, the lines are open. But of course, I want to make this call. I will tell you who I'm calling now. If the person answers, well, it will be self-evident. All right. I tried to get him earlier today, so he's here at least, but I'm trying to get this particular individual to explain a particular development that has taken place. The matter of almost life and death, you may want to say. But let's see. Let me see if he's gonna answer now. They pretend to be in a state of perpetual in industry, and they are perpetually busy. In the meantime, let me take this call. Why the phone is ringing? I'll leave it to ring and let it ring out. But in the meantime, I will take this call. Pleasant good night. Let me just lower the volume on it so that you can hear the caller. Pleasant good night. I am talking to this caller from the handset.
Right. You hear me good enough?
Yes, go ahead. All right. So it rang out. Go ahead, my friend.
Right. I look at today's Guardian.
Yes.
Front page.
I
said that we line up to pay property tax. So I pass up and I saw what I said, what are you doing here? He said, boy, you see the threat, maybe if we ain't pay. I said, well, I get so vexed,
I could imagine.
But my point is this, I want to make to you.
Yes.
See as how you're a lawyer too. Isn't that the same thing like extortion? To the businessman, if you ain't pay, you can't operate?
Yeah. But when the government does it, they believe that they are immune from prosecution.
Yes.
Yes. That's how this government operates, like a gangster, a mafia syndicate that has its tentacles, its poisonous and pernicious tentacles in every area of government and the social life and economic life, that they believe that they are immune from, of course, any kind of prosecution based on infringement of the law. But go ahead.
Yeah. So that is the same as extortion. I don't know any case coming up, but the case in court.
Yes.
But these people so frightened by
they have that the PNM has that uncanny ability. Imagine, I mean, it's not once and not twice. We saw it, of course, when they said that of course, come to deal with this income tax amnesty. Remember that? They had it twice.
Yes.
They make billions of dollars on that the population run. And then, of course, we had the exchange of the Polymore $100 bills for the cotton notes that would have been in people's possession. That was another one. But with each one, there and including, of course, the first edition of the publicizing of the property tax, when there was this fake, false government-sponsored printing of forms that eventually was seen to be illegal. And of course, in it, threats of 5 years imprisonment, and of course a 5,000 fine. Yeah, 5,000 fine. And Imbert was up and down the country, and it turned out that not only was the chief chief evaluation officer for the government, didn't have the wherewithal to execute or to do what Imbert and they wanted, and they just usurped that and printed that and believed that when they speak in the way that they did, that the people will just grovel, similar to when he said that the people ain't riot yet, and taking them for fools, and of course believe that they are so docile and will reside to being complacent that they will not pay the price. But a time is coming when they will have to pay the price. Are talking about the next general elections. The people are just waiting their opportunity, and I'm sure none shall escape. Go ahead.
Yes, you have them yesterday in the parliament.
Yes.
So right now he's scrambling.
yes.
Huh?
Yes, and still will go down. You see, there is a kind of defense, but of course always nestled in either conmanship or a person who is a total rapscallion, but of course will do what? Will pretend, even though the lion through the teeth, will pretend aggression being the best form of defense. So they lie and do so, believing that they are so convincing, or they convince themselves that they are convincing. And eventually, of course, just like those who boast like that, well, I know that plenty people like them boast like that and end up by Kentucky. Yeah, they end up by Kentucky. They boast so much, they end up by Kentucky. In this case, of course, it will be in the hands of the police, blue lights and silver bracelets. Go ahead.
They might end up like Craig too in fourth square.
Well, you never could tell. But I wouldn't want them to be there. I would want them, even in the case of Rowley, for example, to have a special cell in the prison for the mentally deranged serial conmen and criminals, because Rowley can only be described as that. I have not yet evaluated the others, but they will. I'm sure they will not be too far from there.
But yes, see what going on, Lennox?
Yeah.
He must go on mad already.
You see? And we only had this conversation only tonight, and here it is. I have aptly described them so that you could make an appropriate response.
The right thing is the right thing.
Yes.
We know that, right?
Yes.
When the Auditor General will come and produce the information what she have.
Right.
That was the deadline.
Yes.
And they're trying to get out of that all out.
Yeah.
But tonight I heard Nunes Teixeira, I heard Terence Farrell. All them said the woman do the right thing, it's not she fault.
That's right.
When she talked to the Central Bank.
If them cook the books, or if them made a discrepancy, is they to correct it? And it appears it is neither cooking nor, or should I say, is more cooking than a discrepancy. It's not a legitimate mistake. You can't miss all that money.
Nah.
You can't miss all that money. 3 billion on the one hand, then 2 billion still can't be accounted for of that 3 billion. You can't miss that. That is too much money to miss. And Rowley and them still telling us. And I suppose probably that is why he has fallen out with Rowley, because Rowley probably saying, thief from thief make God laugh. And like, you want to thief more than me. You want to thief more than me. So, so there's a fight over this point. That's right, exactly. That to me is the discussion that they would have engaged in to have, because that sum of money, I mean, it is more than enormous. I mean, it's just monolithic. Yeah, it's huge.
But he did the right thing because he did line up.
Yes, and she did what she had to do because it is prescribed in law. So she adhered on time to the law. Full stop.
Well, Farrell, Nunes Teixeira, everybody, he must have Lennox.
Yes.
Don't be surprised, eh? Remember I tell you a fella like he might take up a gun and shoot himself.
I will not be surprised for all of these thin skin, because all of them are thin skin. Is a huge bout of inferiority complex. All of them collectively and individually are suffering from it. It's just that because they hold the offices, that is making them feel emboldened to feed us with the multiple and the in excess arsonists that they are engaged in.
The bullets were out all of them now. It's short, young fella. You don't feel easy Prime Minister already.
Yeah.
But that ain't gonna happen now.
Of course it ain't gonna happen. We know that.
Right?
PNM will quicker, and it's probably inevitable, will crumble as a political organization in this country, become defunct, only to be relegated to the history books of the country as they resile to the dustbin of history.
Right. So I'm gonna listen to Biden and Trump and Kamala.
That's right. Yes, I will take it in afterwards.
All right, boy, then
Yes,
keep going.
I have the task of having, of course, to keep the candle and the lamp and the lighting and the electricity on to make people realize that when they go to the polls, the objective is to eliminate the PNM.
How you like that move on camera make a reshuffle and put all that?
Oh, magnificent! She had to do what she had to do. You see, it is not I heard a very ignorant sycophant on the ground report saying about look what she did and so on and so on. It's not that. They made the first salvo, both in terms of the internals, and then of course they did not attend. Listen, they did not attend the caucus for parliamentarians on the question of the budget preparation. So therefore, their position was clear. So she had no choice. A pleasant good night. Just hold on, caller. Yes. Let me go to this caller. Yeah, this person has a loud background.
Yeah. Good night, Mr. Lennox.
Yes. Good night to you.
Hey.
Yes.
I'll call back.
Call. Go ahead. He's off. Go ahead. Make it. All right. He said he'll call back because his background was echoing. I mean, the reverberation is loud in the studio here. But that being as it may, let me make that call again. I'm anxious to tell all who are calling. Let me make the call again because you heard for yourself that the call rang out. So let me make sure and call again. I don't want nobody to say that I did not give them an opportunity. Yes, indeed, people. We are calling. All right. In the meantime, once again, I will take this call while, of course, that ring or until I get an answer from that call. If I do, I will pause the hand phone. But a pleasant good night to welcome to the corridor. Welcome to the corridor. Pleasant good night.
Yeah, good night, Lennox. Calling home to
I'm lowering down the tone on the system. Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, you remember we was talking about this incident in Tobago with the Secretary for the Division of Infrastructure.
Yes.
Which you have the ongoing thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is just a feedback from what happened with respect to the auditing that went on with Farley and them.
Right.
Right? Because all this thing that popping up now.
Mm-hmm.
Is because this man didn't get our money.
Yes.
Right? Rowley and his partner didn't get our money.
Yeah, that's the Warners.
No.
Because he's in hot water in Trinidad today.
Yeah, that's senior policeman in Tobago here.
The phone has rang out. After this call, I will tell you who I was calling and why. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah.
From Tobago. Yes.
Yeah, this senior man here is the man who pushing all the fire for Rowley and them. Right? He was promoted and sent back to Tobago to handle that situation.
Right. But
so
I understand this Trinidad officers.
The first thing that went on is when they come and search the place.
Right.
Right?
Mm.
I doesn't understand that, under the PNM there, just imagine was building a road in Roxborough when they could have put a bridge. You know what they did?
Mm.
They leased a Bailey Bridge from a comrade at the PNM.
Right.
To put over a road, they leased a Bailey Bridge.
Yeah.
when they could have built a bridge.
Don't be surprised. You will be shocked, you know. Nice joke. You'll be shocked to know the kind of stories. I mean, what about that multi-million-dollar so-called health ministry headquarters? The land belongs to the government. The government give it to the contractor, some subsidiary of the contractor or some associate of the contractor. They take the land and put it up as collateral in the bank and then get the money to build that facility there. Yeah. And then we, the taxpayers, must now pay the entire money. So our land had no value. But go ahead.
The man who buy the property was a mayor for the Spain and his brother.
Yes. The Rahels. Yes. That is Chauvin matter.
His brother have a gated community. He have a mall.
President, you'll have to hold on a little bit, right? Hold on.
Yes, no problem.
But low down your volume in the background. That's all.
I low it down already.
Okay, right. Thanks. Go ahead, Tobago.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he have the same Rahel there. His brother have a mall next door to where they build the plaza.
Yes.
So that building right now housing the licensing office and the division of agriculture.
Right. Yeah, they said it was for
and
agriculture.
Fisheries.
Yeah, they said it was agriculture.
Right.
But there's another scam with that as well. They call it a bolt arrangement.
Another scam. He just scam. But here what happened to some of these people now? You see, because of what Humanitarian did. Because here what happened? That election went on, the $50 million was spent for an election not even 2 months long. You hear?
Yeah.
Now, during that course at that time, all 12 o'clock in the night, he was here in water, concrete truck running up and down the road.
Yeah.
Them fellas was building house for people all over Tobago.
Yeah. And some even start and they get paid.
You know, here what happened? No, but they credit the man. They credit water. They credit him. So here what happened?
Yeah.
The man, because of all that problem there, he hardware shut down in Tobago.
Well, it's obvious evil, as somebody told me tonight.
He hardware shut down. He hardware shut down.
Once you lay your foundation on sinking sand, on quicksand.
We were expecting that Folklore would have paid that money and they pay none.
Yeah.
They pay none. So watch me. They're trying to get back at the Secretary for Infrastructure because the man and sign nothing.
Very good.
So he's a get back and his police and them in Tobago. They on the take too.
Yeah. No doubt.
They on the take because listen, all of them is for where they can get. Is that everybody is corrupted in this place?
Yes.
Just corrupted. All of them know what they're doing now.
Yeah.
Because we only put up all of them to do what they're doing.
Of course.
But let me tell you something. The last time they do that stupid thing in Tobago, and they bring a riot squad in Tobago, you see what was the outcome?
Yeah.
You bring a riot squad in Roxborough.
So long as they catch them with the hand in the cookie jar, they pleading innocence. Yeah.
Right? And you have a riot squad. Everybody wants to know why a riot squad in Roxborough. One man implement that.
Yes.
He and Rowley.
Yeah.
And it's the same asshole doing the same thing over and over. The same man doing the same thing.
Yeah, well hit. But let me tell you something. Let me tell you, you see that Tobago.
One time it'll be a police.
Yeah, but you see that Tobago.
One time it'll be a police and 2 times it'll be a civilian.
Yes.
So let them take the uniform and victimize people and brutalize people. But the day when you go resign from your work and you come out there and you go reach everybody, you go see a different horse of a different color.
Unless you die in service. All right, thanks very much.
You understand?
Yes,
unless you die in service. I don't know why they don't want to be doing them thing using your uniform to victimize people. That's why nobody can trust the police out here.
Yeah, misfeasance,
Nobody cannot trust the police because they are definitely too corrupted.
Yeah.
Definitely too corrupted.
Yes. All right, my friend, I have another person waiting. You know, there's a limit.
That is how they are.
Okay. I have another person waiting, so thanks for your intervention. All right.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, bye-bye. Yes. Sorry about that, caller. Go ahead. Who is on the main system?
Yeah, good night, Mr. Lennox.
Good
Good
night
night
to
once
you.
again to everybody in the live. Good night, Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
Everybody in the live.
Yes.
Mr. Lennox, you know, the governor of the central bank, hilarious,
Yeah.
right? He's pretty hilarious, you know. Just imagine the Auditor General asked for a meeting, right? To discuss this issue concerning the money and so forth now.
Yes.
And the man blanked the woman.
Yeah.
You understand? Them fellas and them Bamsi clapping like a church service right now, you know.
Oh yes.
Because they see self-abuse and blue lights coming.
But at church service, I think is one of Rowley's orchestrated crowds. Claps.
Yeah, these fellas and them know that the public make them out by and large.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah, everybody's seeing straight through them fellas' iniquities.
Yeah, them fellas is criminals, it's pure and unadulterated. You ain't have to write no script. You ain't have to be a blind man. You don't have to be a blind man to see that. That's to tell you how conspicuous they are. And they want to come and play that they are holier than thou. The population waiting for the tails. Their asses are grasses. Yeah. And I say so without fear of contradiction. And Rowley, anytime, I say that again, anytime you play mad and get to like Maduro, having lost the election handsomely, and you want to play a staying in office because you have some imps want to protect you because you would have been responsible for them getting their office unmeritoriously, and you want them to stay, and they want you to stay in office as well, and are prepared to utilize their cohesive offices, police, whether it's army and so on. You will be assassinated. I wanted to say that before, of course, you make an intervention. Go ahead.
Listen, well, right now, Rowley and them are scared because what's going on. I don't know if you're aware of this.
Yeah.
But America gave Maduro an ultimatum. They're telling us in 5 months, or we will come in there and drag you all by your hair.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
Maduro in trouble right now. The American army gearing up.
You can't be doing that. You can't do that. You tried something last time. You ain't bringing the international independent observers for the local government, even though the judicial committee of the Privy Council tell you have to have elections. You still want to pull back something. No observers. Blatant. And you have a track record of attempting to and in fact stole elections. You have to be mad. They will assassinate you. I don't want to say kill, so I want to use the words assassinate your tail. So stop there. And not from people like me, from the same people who have a sense of justice when they see that the people would have been subjected to all of your iniquities over the last 9 years. Then it will be 10 years if it goes into next year. And you want to stay there still because you afraid blue lights and silver bracelets. Well, you better prepare yourself like Saddam Hussein when he was in the foxhole. After doing all the people, poison the Kurds and all of them, and in a foxhole, and when they get him all bearded and dirty and snobby and like a vagrant, when they pull him out, they say, I am the president of Iraq. Yeah, he said, yeah. But eventually, he was, of course, he had a date, frankly, with the hangman loose. That's what he had a date with. The hangman loose. Yes. Go ahead.
If and when I'm carrying inside Venezuela,
yes,
you know the kind of repercussions it's going to have in Trinidad and Tobago.
But we cannot afford it. We cannot afford it. And Rowley is definitely silent on what is happening in Venezuela and what has been happening in Venezuela in the past, because he has his own agenda. And the plane that he sees, we get to find out now that he used to carry gold
drugs.
Yeah, and drugs and gold boulevards inside of those.
Yes.
And we were speculating that, well, why Delcy Rodriguez had to come with a plane from Venezuela, because such a contraband might have been on board that, of course, would have had the pass and the and the ignoring by the security forces, sympathetic and under the control of this bunch of miscreants. We're waiting for all this conspirators.
Boy, Trinidad and Tobago is only got to help us. We in real trouble, Mr. LENNOX.
I don't think so. I have a different view. Elections will come.
Well, okay,
the people will decide. And Kamala Prasad Bisesa, the UNC, will come to the rescue. So all is not lost, my friend.
Okay, well, okay.
We
have to keep praying, and we have to stand up for the country and fight for the country.
Yes. Okay then, my friend.
Okay, right. Have a blessed night, Brother LENNOX.
Yes. Let me get back, of course, to the individual that I was attempting to call. I think what I should do first is play my voicemail to him earlier, so you know it's a him. Let me just play it to him earlier, and then, of course, I will tell you if you can figure it out who it is. All right, oh boy, I gain a chance to disclose that mystery that I have. I have engaged you on earlier. But a pleasant good night. Welcome.
To him. Good night, LENNOX. How are you going, boy?
Well, of course, as could be in the circumstance.
What new in Trinidad again, boy? We were trying to call it LENNOX.
Oh, gosh. Oh, go. Well, let me unfold the mystery as I want now, man.
Oh, the chicken foot sandwich I anyway. This whole country going haywire, you know.
Yes, of course.
It's going haywire.
Well, when you hear the mystery caller, or the mystery caller at the other end would be, well, the plot will even deepen. Go ahead, my friend.
When I could see that we have the borders unprotected at this moment in time, and every Tom, Dick, and Harry could come in here at this moment in time with all sorts of guns, ammunition, contraband, human trafficking, you name it. They may be passing right through there right now as me and you talking.
Yes.
It's coming through right by the boatloads.
There's no boat. There's no ships. There is no vessels to patrol. And they made it clear to all contrabanders. The borders of Trinidad and Tobago is open and free for you to, of course, exploit and explore.
This is I didn't know these PNM sycophants on them. They ain't studying that, you know. They're only studying Kamala this, Kamala that, Kamala go thief for them. They're the thief.
You hear it every morning on the ground report, trying to defend the indefensible. A bunch of what I consider to be utterances of cacophonous babblings and ambulatory orations that is extremely osseous of irrelevance.
And you know, like I tell you, they're suffering in silence, you know.
Of course, they're suffering in silence. You're asking answers. And they're suffering in silence. But they pretend that they will show a face. Imagine a man, after 9 years, I'm sure many sycophantic moments prior, because I mean that person had to be close to his late 70s, 80s, and you are given a what? I like to use the term car park technician. You know, car park technician. You know, just like a janitorial technician. I don't know if they are on the same level. Yeah. And
he need to make it professional.
He accept that as a badge of honor to defend these fellas who are raking and dallying in millions and billions and car comfort.
The fellow will be calling you and playing this Porter. That is the real Porter Spain, you know, LENNOX. That is not that person, you know. I know his voice good. Yeah. That is a different person. This fellow
whether it's real Porter Spain or not,
fake Porter Spain.
Or everybody know is a blasted fake. Whether it's real or not.
Yeah, he's fake Porter Spain. That way I call him.
Nobody in Porter Spain will be talking that amount of diatribe.
That's why the song different from he.
All right, my
Listen,
friend.
man.
Yes.
I know come off a live there, right?
Yes.
Where a pastor was talking. And the pastor said she met this elderly gentleman, right? And the man had a little granddaughter, and the little granddaughter begging for food. Just imagine that, LENNOX.
Yes.
The little 5-year-old girl says they have no food in their house. Yeah. Telling the grandfather that.
That is a regular occurrence under Rowley. Regular occurrence. That is almost banal. It is so commonplace. It is pedestrian. It is commonplace.
they say that they stay in silence, Lennox. They would never say nothing.
Yeah.
They would eat the grass by the road rather than to talk out and see the repercussions and all the bad what I should say, the bad governance by the government causing them to go down that road.
Yeah, but no human being will take that kind of what I consider to be orchestrated poverty indefinitely. There must
Only
be a
the
tolerance
diehard
level.
parent supporters, Lennox.
No, there's a tolerance level even for them. Even for them.
The ones who
it has a limited shelf life.
The juice that Jim Jones drink.
Yeah.
Them is the one go down dying because
none of them are dying for Rowley, boy. None of them are dying for Rowley. Take what I tell you. Push come to shove, abandon Rowley and go on the way. They take the lifeboat.
84-year-old call.
Yeah.
Heavy and TC show today.
Yeah.
And if you're the man getting on, he's saying it for their feel or they think he could bring out the Red Army. Well, I tell him that he could bring out the Dead Army because in the next 5 years he's sure to be living. You understand?
Yes.
Before I go, you see this Ramaje, this Imber doing with this Auditor General and making it look like the one politically doing something against him.
Yeah.
That is disgusting from his point of view. And he's using parliamentary privilege to go and talk about that, you know. But you come out in the open and talk.
It is clear that there's something in the mortar more than the pestle, something usually sinister. Why I'm saying that? No, why I'm saying that? Listen, why I'm saying that? Rowley has distanced himself from him. So it means, therefore, something is happening. Just as how Rowley distanced himself from Al-Rari, something was happening with respect, of course, to the Vincent Nelson. Well, it's the same thing here. It is clear that it has to do with that $3 billion that cannot be accounted for. So aggression is the best form of defense. So he will, of course, should I say, aggressively verbalize until, of course, he implodes. He implodes because that is what's going to happen. Just as Rowley.
Yes. And you see this governor of the central bank? He is another one too.
Well, of course, he has a house. He has one of the Inez Gate apartments as well, townhouses, you know. So is a conspirators, a group of individuals who are deeply unpatriotic and absolutely treasonous. Treason. Having regard to where they are.
And he blanking the woman.
Yeah.
Now, Imbert saying that he had to figure out a way for the two of them to meet. I don't understand this clong, you know.
No, it's only when they have no choice. They act as wolf in sheep clothing. I urge the Auditor General, make sure that she has her legal people with her present when this wily and, of course, criminalistic member of this gang meets with her. All right, my friend. Good night. Yes, people, let's get back, of course, to that mystery. I wonder if I was sufficiently lucid to give, or is it that he did it inadvertently when he talked about the borders, when he started introduce his border. I thought I had given him some kind of clue. But, I mean, people can apply common sense in various ways. So I don't know if that is one of the instances. But let's go to the voicemail that I sent earlier today to this individual that I was phoning whole evening to get a comment from him. And let's hear what I had to say first to assist. Let me make sure that is on him. So. Honorable, this is LENNOX Smith here. I did not get the expected response from the information that I had texted to you some time ago. The whistleblower said that they didn't receive any attention or response. But I'm not to talk to you on that now. There is a very young constituent in your constituency, in fact, opposite the Ramdale basketball court. He was living. He died at age 15, he was attending, of course, the Mover Laventil Secondary School. He died last Friday. His father went to get some assistance from the Ministry of Social Development. I've been trying to get a number or in contact with Donna Cox. I've not been able to be successful. So I thought I would bring it to your attention. The father's name is Mark Sandy, MARKSANDY, and the telephone number is 474-3488, 474-3488. If you have the time and the willingness, could you just communicate with them, because they got blank at the Ministry of Social Development, and they are in a bit, not a bit, but in a total quandary. They do not have the funds to bury that young lad who unfortunately expired so young and therefore prematurely. You can send me something, or you can contact the family directly. I would really appreciate if you can use your good office to try to assist. Yes, people, of course, and I am going to try to call again now, before, of course, I disclose who that individual I sent that voicemail to. Yes, people, of course, we are waiting, of course, anybody at the other end to pick up. This is the number to which that voicemail went. Asking, pleading, of course, it has rung out, pleading and asking for assistance for young Joseph Sandy from very poor and humble background. The parents were trying to get some assistance because he died from complications from a heart surgery that he had. He had a congenital problem as far as his physique is concerned. Extremely tall, like he had some kind. He looked like in my biology days, they will call it human and social biology days. They call it exaggerated pituitary gland. Where, of course, if it is enlarged or if it overproduces certain of its secretion, the individual will grow very tall. Well, he was extremely tall. Well, he died, of course, from that pituitary gland. Yes, and so I got wind of the information from a close friend of mine, and they said that the person got blank, and they simply don't have the funds to engage in the burial. He died since Friday, so today is already Tuesday, and the longer the body stays at the funeral home, is more costly. But of course, they were hoping and praying that they would have gotten some kind of assistance from the Ministry of Social Development. Yeah, and that has not occurred. So I thought I should call Fitzgerald Hines the next best. Why? Because the lad was resident in Chumakak. Chumakak is well within the constituency of Laventille West, and he, as parliamentary representative for Laventille West, Hines, I called him in that capacity. And you would have noticed that I gave the number with the permission of the father, so that he can call them directly if he has some difficulty with my making that intervention. Because this is not about political grandstanding or in any way looking to get some political benefit or some political currency. It is about a human being, a young man, 15 years of age, has died in such tragic circumstance, not as a result of murder or gang warfare, but because of some complication with a surgery that he would have taken. And I thought it was important, in spite of the fact that I consider, and I'm sure it is reciprocal, Hines considered me to be his arch nemesis, and I consider him likewise. But that doesn't mean we cannot meet on common ground of a humanitarian nature, and that is where I went, and that is why I communicated. And of course, as you see now, I called again, no answer. Maybe I should give the number that I know him to have, because I communicated with him some time ago and he did respond to me, Hines. So maybe I will give you that, so you might be able to say that is it a new number or is it the wrong number, as the case may be. And because the problem subsists, it continues, and unless that fund is met for the burial, that child will not be buried, and some other factor or some other arrangement will have to take place, because he cannot stay in ICE indefinitely at a tremendous cost. Yes, at tremendous cost. So since Friday, as I said, since Friday. So therefore, that is the reason why I made that call, and I thought I should do it tonight as well, just to, of course, hear what the parliamentary representative for Laventille West would say and how he may propose. I wanted to get a number for Donna Cox as well. So let me just tell you the number that I called with respect, of course, to Hines, just to make sure that we are in the right page, and persons, I'm sure, who are listening may have some access to him, and it may well be that I have the wrong number. So out of an abundance of caution, let me just share with you that particular number that I called him at. Let me just see if I can find it now. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. I'm trying to get it on, trying to get his profile. Right, okay. So I have it. 716-8451. 716-8451. He's a public figure, so I have no qualms in, of course, sharing that number, because many of you may want to communicate with him. So 716-8451. 716-8451. That's the number I have for Hines. Anybody out there who have a different number, and you can give me a number for Donna Cox, I will appreciate, and I will, of course, communicate on behalf of this young man who clearly ought to have been by now on his way to heaven, so to speak. But he's still, of course, with us because of the lack of resources to effect his interment. Right? So that is the mystery that I was holding at the beginning of the program, and now it has all been revealed. That being as it may, yes, indeed, of course, the numbers to call 337-6940, 337-6940. It's already 9:39. Let me see if I can get. I find it kind of a bit later to call Munilal, because that's the first number I called this when we started. But let me see, because I promised that I'll try to do two numbers or communicate with two persons per night. Let me see if I can get Munilal. We remember these calls are not scripted, so it is being done impromptu. So the best we can get is our response. And the worst we can get is that, of course, may not be available, or it may not have reached the individual. But we will try until, of course, we succeed, because this is what this is all about. It's about service, it's about delivery, and it's about making certain that the PNM never again raise its ugly, debilitating, and pernicious head in Trinidad and Tobago as a political party, and as opportunists who have gravitated to short circuit their journey to wealth, fame, fortune, and rubbing shoulders with shakers and movers in the society. If there is any group that is undeserving, is that of those who have assembled under this criminal enterprise called the PNM. So I know it's a bit late, and therefore I will If not, I'll try tomorrow with respect to Munilal. I'm sure I'll be able to get another call, but I would have liked to hear Munilal having regard to his fiery recent presentations across the board. I mean, the man is called the lion, you know. All right, so I will not venture another call out of respect for the time and the fact that he has not responded. I'm not going to make another call, except to say that these are very troubling times, and we need to understand clearly what we are up against. I made a very quick video a little earlier with respect, of course, to the murder situation in the country, and I call it the PNM murders, to make certain that it is distinct from any other murders that the country is experiencing. Let me go straight to the line, and then of course we will. Let me just go to it. A pleasant good night. Welcome. Pleasant good night. Welcome. Why am I not getting to the there? Why am I not getting it? All right, give me the phone. Hold on, caller, just a minute. Just have a little technical issue here. Let me see what's happening here. Just a minute. I have my assistant here. Yes, I have my assistant here with me. Very loyal indeed, and committed and dedicated. Yes, indeed. Person is there? All right. So we have the person here. The speaker is on. All right, good. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
A pleasant good night to you, Mr. LENNOX. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Go ahead, man. That's your prerogative to interrupt. Yeah.
No, because I heard you say call. So a pleasant good night to each and every one who is listening. And 11 more months again to go.
Yes.
And now we see the carpenter, the mason, and the woodworkers and the termites coming out in the full glory now to build and to make and to destroy whatever is in the path. Now, our National Security Minister, the first one, Mr. Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hines, the honorable guy. You see, when they carry the word honorable, I could say there's the honorable misleading information liars. And I like the song you played tonight. Because you see, they just feel that everybody is sleeping, or the witchcraft of the leader, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is have everybody docile like the membership.
Yes.
But in a joint select committee of parliament, and the parliament debate on the expenditure budget debate on the finance committee, he had bring in some brigadiers and some people from the Coast Guard.
Mm-hmm.
When they say they had simple thing like diesel, that's what the boat is done for, diesel, and yes, they get them money and the expenditure and all the boats is up and running. But all of a sudden, all the vessels are down. And it has callers at the PNM. They say that they buy 2 doctors boat and we cancel the best thing to patrol. That our political leader cancel it, Ms. Kamala Persad-Bissessar. They went and they buy 2. And it looked like it's 2 Brazilian cutlass to buy. Because Rowley went on one and he blighted. He blighted 2 of them. He went on one and he blighted 2. Eh? So when they come out now, it's 14 months we have to wait for all the vessels to be back in service. Mr. LENNOX, what do you think? And they're advertising that on national media. What do you think will happen to we? Eh? But the nice thing about it, I hope that the CPOC that a public servant takes sick leave to go and check himself and in effect, right? And the CPO could discipline that public servant for taking sick leave and not and going and threatening. That is a serious thing. So you see where it reached to in this country that they don't care about anybody again. Anybody, citizen, no citizen, they don't care. You could be how close to them, how far up in the capers, they don't care. But yet still, they tell their supporters, 2028 is coming, and wait till 2028 for prosperity. And while all waiting, only will have to pay a $4 billion bill in Tiantec and a WASA bill because we had to raise it or the name of restructuring. And when you check it, you'll see how much they borrow internally from WASA and Tiantec. And we, the citizens, with property tax. But when local government reform, how it is working, and I thought that money is supposed to go straight to the corporation and local government. So you see our next big lie again? So Mr. Lennox, I see you put up your videos on them. Yeah. And I'll give you enough time to elaborate on it. All right, have a pleasant night to each and everyone.
Same to you, my friend. Same to you, my friend. I thought it was important, of course. I put this together tonight because I was extremely concerned about the level of murders, the nature of them, and so on. And of course, I am preparing a dossier of all of this. All would not, of course, find its way in the dossier to prepare, of course, for the United Nations and various departments of the United Nations, as well as the State Department and of course the Organization of American States, as well as, of course, the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, etc. Because it is clear that this government is complicit by its policies and programs and reckless behavior, and therefore has casual concern for human life. And if we as human beings value human life as the most precious commodity that planet Earth could have produced, and it is so callously being destroyed, there must be an argument. There must be institutions, whether it be international, regional. We have exhausted, of course, the local, should I say, grid for this, because who you're going to complain to here? The police. You're going to complain to the police service, to the police complaints authority. You'll complain to the Equal Opportunities Commission. You'll complain, of course, to the Integrity Commission. You complain to the police itself in terms of its investigative capacity. What do you do? And of course, having regard to international evaluations of countries, and Trinidad and Tobago, I just saw something where the most violent city in the world, Trinidad and Tobago, I think, is about the 10th most violent city in the world. Port of Spain, I'm talking about here now. Quite apart from the fact that the most murderous country, or the most violent country, where we are about 6th in another international survey, and we can go on and on. What we know domestically is this, that deaths that could have been avoided have occurred in the health sector. And it can be categorized in two fundamental ways, the most recent of which, of course, are premature babies. Yes, prenatal. And then, of course, COVID, over 5,000 deaths. And, of course, the Ministry of National Security. Why Rowley would have waited so long to make a move, a move that can only be described as a half-picked duck. Because while, of course, no international agency, otherwise it will infringe, of course, our sovereignty. And for the time being, a government is in place. Clearly, its dysfunctionality, described as a half-picked duck, has made it, of course, because what eligible for shortening its term to save life. But let's go to the lines and press a good night.
Yes, Lennox.
Yes, man.
You're talking about crime.
Yes.
But I thought it was a public health issue.
Well,
3 people get murdered.
All that in
the house, a father, son, and a mother.
Yes.
They die by what? Lead poisoning? That will kill them? It have a prevention against that in the health institution, Lennox? I'm asking a question.
Not yet, but Rowley will have us amorphously.
I want to know what vaccine he can take.
Yeah. But amorphously, without form, without logic, without common sense, he would like us to believe so.
Public health is you madam foot. They only talking as such a rubbish. That's the tired people get, and like I was always the PNM supporters buy that hook, line, and sinker, boy. Them is the only irrational people in this country, and it's themselves getting murder, Lennox. Them and the supporters is on the endangered species level. African people mostly. They getting killed by their own hands, and you go tell me this wicked government, sit down there and put incompetence. They put Larry Moore and Curly, the 3 stooges, Heinz, Scotland, and Erla, the 3 of them, 3 stooges. Only have a bunch of clunging around. Have a good day, Lennox.
Yes, my friend. Yes, my friend. And there's more people when you think one would have exhausted the level of crime, criminality, and of course excuses. They seem to have a bottomless pit because only recently this is what.
Prime Minister to do something about crime. I'm not in your bedroom. I'm not in your choice of men. You're losing the war against the criminal element, but you hold the government accountable, and the government must be held accountable. The country is awash in blood. There isn't a news item in this country where there isn't a good chance that a major part of the news is who killed who. We take the advice from you, the people. And when you have had enough of what we have done, you know exactly what to do. You know what to do.
Your vote will decide our destiny. Your vote will decide what you want to be. Your vote can foretell our country's fate. One use it well before it's too late.
The people of this country are quite correctly holding this government accountable to secure the country and to make you feel safe. You are losing the war against the criminal element, but you hold the government accountable, and the government must be held accountable. The country is awash in blood. There isn't a news item in this country where there isn't a good chance that a major part of the news is who killed who. We take the advice from you, the people. And when you have had enough of what we have done, you know exactly what to do. You know what to do.
Vote them out, they go Martin West. Vote them out, they go Martin East. Vote them out, San Fernando West. St. Anne's West, Boys Bay North. Vote them out, vote them out, vote them out, vote them out, vote them out.
BNM is the stalwarts of mafia, bubble and corruption. Home of them big lions, big thieves of millions of dollars. Don't trust none of them. Them is the real problem. They're doing me what.
You have a call on the line, so we'll pause for a cause and a pleasant good night.
So I'm going to cut off and you say you wanted to be on the line.
Yes. I asked another the subsequent caller the question. It relates to how on the question of the schools, I believe it was that here it is, Rowley, and they stopped talking about the schools, accepting that they were in fact 106 in other words, and yet still the sycophants and they continue. Is there a lag between, of course, the regurgitation, the repeating like a parrot what the leaders say, and a communication gap may now exist, that they continue to talk, whilst of course these fellas, their leaders, the people who they got it from, stop talking about it? Or is it that the damage would have already been done, so the leaders believe, and therefore there is no need to tell them, well, shut your blasted trap, you're talking nonsense. We have discovered that what Kamala and they were saying is true, and it was proven in the parliament, and therefore there's no need for you to spread that falsehood. It's only damaging the PNM. I don't know what your views are on that.
Well, based on what you said, that the PNM supporters do not when you ask them a question, they just look for something to reply. They doesn't understand. They just reply based on what you ask them. They don't understand.
Automatically, just so being like spontaneously, like a dog will know that it has to feed its pups, for example, and therefore they have to suckle and it will lie and do it without thinking. Is something like that?
Yes, something just like that. Exactly.
All right. Okay.
Just when you ask them a question, them they just reply.
Without thinking.
When you ask them something, they just reply without thinking.
I see.
That's why you have. Remember when we had I forget the guy name. When they say, "Great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and it shall prevail."
Mm-hmm.
Well, under the United National Congress, great is the truth, and the truth will always prevail.
Yeah, and I thought that's one of the premier activists and apologists, frankly, at times. I'm talking about Dr. What's his name? He was at the. I was in his presence.
Kelvin Kujo.
That's right. Yes, I was in his presence when he made that statement as well. It was shocking, but he said, "I love my leader, but I love my country more." and he went on, of course, to say, "Great is the truth, and it shall prevail, and not great is the PNM." I agree with you.
And not great is the PNM. All right, Mr.
Yes, thank you very much for that honest opinion on the subject matter that I shared with subsequent earlier caller, having lost, of course, communication with this particular caller. So I thank him for being so attentive that he was able to call in before we make our departure. Here is, of course, 2 minutes to the hour of 10 o'clock. And let's see what this position on crime and criminality. But I want you to take note of what Kamala Persad-Bissessar would have been saying in this video.
We not voting, them for King's PNM. We not voting, them for King's PNM. King Rolly, King Imbert, King Forrest, King John, living high, dictatorship style.
Proudly saying this. He says, if the government cannot deal with crime, then the government is part of the crime. What do you say now, Mr. Rowley? The parents. You don't want to blame parents.
When PM Rowley was in opposition, he said, anytime a government resorts to blaming the opposition for its failure to deliver on their mandate and their responsibilities to the people, it is a clear sign that they have accepted that they have outlived their usefulness. Why hypocritical PM Rowley is not out of office by taking his own advice? Obviously, he even lied to himself. When PM Rowley was in opposition, he said, anytime a government resorts to blaming the opposition for its failure to deliver on their mandate and their responsibilities to the people, it is a clear sign that they have accepted that they have outlived their usefulness. Why hypocritical PM Rowley is not out of office by taking his own advice? Obviously, he even lied to himself.
Proudly saying this. He says, if the government cannot deal with crime, then the government is part of the crime. What do you say now, Mr. Rowley? What do you say now, Mr. Rowley? What do you say now, Mr. Rowley?
Time to
Ah, yes, indeed. Only Kamala could save Trinbago, man. That is a
Licensing officers conduct search and
indisputable
seize
factor.
belongings of
Indisputable
Secretary
factor. But let's
James.
hear
A search warrant
how they
was
would
issued
use
for Assemblyman Trevor James on Thursday evening by
the
licensing
resources
officers.
of the country
The warrant alleged
to
that
pursue their
James had
nasty
illegally
and
obtained
criminalistic ways, weaponizing government against the people. Listen to
and
this.
seize belongings of Secretary James. A search warrant was issued for Assemblyman Trevor James on Thursday evening by licensing officers. The warrant alleged that James had illegally obtained an inspection sticker for his private vehicle. As a result, officers visited his home in Signal Hill and seized his phone. More on this story from Candice Jackson.
Assemblyman Trevor James, Secretary of Infrastructure, Quarries and Urban Development, is the latest THA official to face a warrant. This time, licensing officers allege that James illegally obtained an inspection sticker for his personal vehicle.
The warrant is at best vague, and it seems to suggest that this search and this seizure of my devices is consequent to a belief that I somehow acquired a certification sticker on the vehicle.
The search warrant signed by Master Sukraj Goswami stated that James's phone may contain evidence to support the allegations of his illegal actions in obtaining the inspection sticker.
Nothing could be further from the truth.
James described the warrant as nothing short of a political attack on the THA administration.
It was an attempt by officers from Trinidad, possibly instructed by politicians in Trinidad, to undertake this action to say to Tobago, the people that you have elected are of no consequence to us, and we can do to them as we please, expecting maybe that I would resist.
James did not resist and allowed officers to inspect his vehicle and seize his iPhone 15.
There is no doubt in my mind whatsoever as to the reaches of the PNM. The reaches to the PNM into every statutory body in Trinidad and Tobago. There is no doubt in my mind that the PNM can have access to and could impact the decision-making process of any and every statutory authority in Trinidad and Tobago.
James stated that the actions were an attempt to embarrass him and his family, and he is preparing to take legal action against the licensing office. Meanwhile, he expressed his intention to contest the upcoming general elections, should they be called, in an effort to address and change the relationship between Trinidad and Tobago to prevent such actions in the future.
This is the tipping point. This is the tipping point. The decision, of course, is not mine, but I'm offering myself publicly to the party and to the people of Tobago.
James said it doesn't matter whether he contests the Tobago East or West seat, leaving the decision to the Tobago People's Party, the TPP, on whether they are willing to have him as a candidate.
I will just ask this question. This is coming from Elizabeth Williams from Tobago. She said,
people just listen to this. It's very, very, very interesting. I will comment on the Tobago scenario momentarily.
That the Tobago People's Party has labeled the search of Mr. James's home as a PNM search. Could you comment on it?
Just there, we have come together this morning to report.
So, in other words, he's not prepared to answer the question that was a PNM warrant. But let's go further.
To the national community about what they must expect in response to the upsurge in crime, as we said. And I think we expect that you would focus on that so that the public would benefit from what this forum is really intended for.
One last thing. In 2012, when the Prime Minister would have occupied the opposition benches at that time, he made a statement then that the government can't deal with crime. That the government itself is part of the problem. It's 12 years later, and we're seeing, of course, the problem is worse, and we're seeing higher, murder stats. And Dr. Rowley, by that standard now, can you say, sitting there, are you willing, as Minister of National Security, can you accept that pronouncement now?
Listen to this response carefully.
To report to the nation what can be done and what is being done. But of course, we're seeing the figures going up. We're seeing that fear, the trauma, the fear is there. So can you now, judging by what he would have said then, going with that?
As Akash Samaru alluded to in one of his interventions earlier, that which you have described is not new. Those of us who have been around long enough, we would have seen this kind of upsurge from time to time. So all we are doing here today is presenting to you, the national community, what the response from law enforcement will be in relation to the upsurge that is traumatizing the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago today.
And if I pause here and take them off now, I can assure you there is nothing of substance that you can glean from that straightforward question that was posed. Very simple. The Prime Minister said in opposition, Rowley, his boss, that a government that cannot have a handle on crime is part of the problem and should be seeking demitting office. He unsuccessfully, of course, and unskillfully, clearly he doesn't have what I consider to be the vocabulary to even evade the obvious buffoon that he made of himself by not answering this straightforward question. Is yes or no? Are you in contemplation of getting the hell out of office now that what Rowley was pontificating at one time when he was, of course, in opposition, whether he will take his own advice, he will adhere to his own utterance? No. And what he told us there is no, because it was never intended to be serious. It was always a con job to stay in office or to get into office, as we saw the beginnings of which was that of those fake, concocted, manufactured, choreographed emails. Yes, you ought to be angry. I hope that what I am saying now and the tone in which I'm using, you are angry. And Hines had the audacity and the temerity to, of course, provide the body language that suggests he's speaking authoritatively. No, he's a blasted coward, hollow, and discombobulated, total and absolute nincompoop. People, we have come to the end of tonight's program. Pleasant good night, rest of the night to you. Of course, don't forget tomorrow morning, the ground report, Andy and myself, and of course, Mikey on the ground report from 6 to 9. And we will again, of course, return here at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Hopefully, during the course of the day, Hines will give me a call. Hopefully, as well, I will find, of course, a number for Donna Cox, because I intend, of course, to follow up this matter. Otherwise, this young man will not be buried. Will not be buried, people. But they could evade, they could obfuscate, they could use hyperboles, they could use grandiloquence, they could use semantics, they could use synonyms, they could use the dunderheaded pretense that they would project in order to gain sympathy. There shall be no relenting of the population, and there shall be no sympathy for them, because they had none for us. To whom much is given, much is expected. And if you do evil, that evil will follow you. And that there is none as blind as he or she who refuses to see. I'm throwing that for the general population and those who have to make a decision, whether it's this year or next year. Pronouncement on these people, because the time has come for adjudication, judgment. And we must be swift. We must ensure blue lights and silver bracelets. We must define our ache, pain, agony, and our discontent, and our vehement disapprobation, disapproval. Yes. We must show our irascibility. We must show our choleric tendency. And we must do so up until we dismiss this government. When you would, of course, demonstrated by your ink index finger, that you have taken the decision and pulled the plug on even the life-saving RAF or the life support of the PNM. They shall be extinct. For Trinidad and Tobago's sake, our children and our children's children. Yes, we must do better. We can do better. And the only people we can do better with is Kamala Persad-Bissessar and the UNC. See you tomorrow night. God bless. And maybe we can end as we started. At the man with the lion tongue. Well coined in music.
To see who they will crown as lion champion. Liars from all parts of the West Indies. Big shot liars from all them foreign countries. From a field about 1,000 or so entry. In 2 days, he boiled down and leave just 3. I had me eye on Liar the lion, because I know he does come with some good ones. But they had a younger fella named Tibo, come from some village there in Tobago. He say his father is Tobago's best fisherman. Catch a fish a mile wide, 80 feet in span. He had to tie it on the boat and swim back to land to get his brother Eric to give him a hand. You hear live?
Once upon a time there was a magic island full of magic people. Let me tell you a story about their pain and their glory. Oh yeah. Many rivers flow to this naked eye, bringing fear and pain, but also a brand new style. And of all these rivers that shape this land, 2 mighty ones moved like a sculptor's hand. And today those hands across the land, man, is still landscaping. And there's no doubt we can work it out there
So I am part seed of India. India, the Indian ship and the slavery bind together two races in unity. There was no more Mother Africa, no more Mother India, just Mother Trinity. My Mahuta planted sugar cane down in the Caroni Plain. Ram Logan Basdale Prakashanai. Jahaji Pai, brotherhood and the boat. Jahaji Pai, brotherhood and the boat. Jahaji that journey, for I do have Zindagi. So it is a great privilege to have such unique heritage. 50% Africa, 50% India. India, I have done duty to holiday, emancipation and arrival day. Since Patel Rosak made that journey 150